My name is Enrique,
My name is Kevin.
and today we want to talk about rates.
Okay, now let's get to it. There are four different kinds of rates that we're going to talk about today. First is rate 0, second is rate 1, third is rate 5, and the last one is rate 10. Now, before we start, there are two different concepts, two different elements that we must understand. First is what striping is, and second is what mirroring is. I will explain what striping is, and Enrique will tell what mirroring is. Now, striping is when you take at least two different hard drives and you save data in a simultaneous way in which it's going to look like a stripe, basically. That is dividing the information in a subsequent or a sequential way in which the disks will both function at the same time, which causes both the double the efficiency and the double speed. Now, mirroring, on the other hand,
On the other
is
hand, is just having a copy on each of the disks, and this will assure that you keep your information because as stripe blocks, the main characteristic is that it keeps the performance, and with mirroring, the most important part is to keep your information. So let's get to it. Rate level 0 has its blocks striped, and there is no mirror, no parity. It has a minimum of 2 disks. It has an excellent performance because the blocks are striped, and it has no redundancy because there's no mirror and no parity. And you should not use this for any critical system, as RAID level 0 doesn't care about your information, it's all about performance. Your data is not assured. And RAID level 1, it has a minimum of 2 disks, and the difference between RAID level 0 and RAID level 1 is that in this one, the blocks are mirrored, there's no stripe and no parity as well. And this means it has good performance, but not as excellent as the first one. Because it has no striping and no parity, but it has excellent redundancy because the blocks are mirrored, which means that the files are in both hard drives.
Now, the third one is RAID level 5. It has the blocks are striped, and they have distributed parity. But the difference here is that you need a minimum of 3 disks. The reason why is that it stripes in between the 3 disks, which causes good performance because the blocks are striped, good redundancy. Now, it is because of distributed parity. What the 3 disks does is that in each one of them, you could imagine them as P1, P2, and P3. There are elements data inside each one of them which are redundant. You can say that there are similar types. It's a combination of not mirroring, right? Because it's not the same exact data in both hard drives, but you can see it as redundancy. Now, it is seen as the best cost-effective option, providing both performance and redundancy. It's recommended to use this for DB that is heavily read-oriented. Now, like I said, the main aspect about RAID level 5 is that there's 3 disks and blocks are striped and it has distributed parity. Now, the funny thing is for RAID level 10. Now, what is RAID level 10? It's a combination of both RAID 0 and RAID 1. We have said that RAID 0 was a system of blocks which focuses on speed and efficiency more than anything, while RAID level 1 were two blocks which consisted on backups, on having redundancy and having mirrors, which actually made the process slower. Now, RAID level 10 is a combination of both, which uses a minimum of 4 disks. Now, what it does is we can imagine 4 different disks. Disk 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, two of these disks, well, what it would do is it would stripe. Now, let's say the disk number 1 and disk number 3 stripes. What it does is that it saves data simultaneously in between those two disks. Now, what disk 2 and disk 4 does, meanwhile, is for it to mirror. Everything that happens in disk 1, it mirrors in disk 2. Everything that happens in disk 3, it mirrors in disk 4. Now, what does this cause? This process is also called as the stripe of mirrors. Now, this causes excellent redundancy, excellent performance. Like we can see, it combines the best of the RAID 0 and RAID 1. But the only backside, only negative side of this is that it costs way more money. You need at least 4 drives in which you're going to have to do different processes simultaneously. And that is RAID level 10.
And we hope that with this information you can choose wisely your next hard drive.
And I hope we covered everything.
Now, this segment will explain the M.2 computer hardware specification. What is M.2? Why is it important? What is SATA? What is PCIe? Who knows the answers to all those questions? I do, and I'm going to tell you right now. M.2 is a hardware interface, basically a new port, a new hole in which you can plug stuff in, for communication between devices and computer motherboards. It allows said devices to portray a new range of widths and lengths, generally small, great for laptops and other limited space applications. When it comes down to storage, it is notable because it combines other interfaces, or more accurately named communication systems, into one new cool tiny port. Most importantly, SATA and PCIe. SATA was made and is used for attaching storage devices to motherboards. It has been around for years with clearly established guidelines / communication protocols, and everyone knows it. The standard is also upgraded frequently. The downside is, it is getting old storage-wise. The data transfer speeds it allows are not enough for some people now. PCIe, which has also been around for years, was designed to attach any possible motherboard add-on you could think of, be it graphic cards, sound cards, network cards, whatever cards, and yes, even storage to the computer. So its flexibility and versatility allow for, again, memory-wise, data transfer speeds higher than those of SATA. M.2 can use either one of them for handling storage, but it is up to each manufacturer of motherboards and expansion cards to decide how. So, until some defined combination becomes a standard, selecting ultra-high-speed storage solutions is going to be messy. The M.2 standard makes for order and progress within chaos.